So, thanks to the TCG's amazing talent for delaying products, we're in one of those dry spells without any new releases for a while. While the ACG gets fun stuff like the secret shiny box, the TCG is a no fun allowed zone, so we get, well, nothing really. So, by popular demand, and by that I mean about 100 of you clicked a button, I'm making an Appliancer Deck profile. Because who doesn't want to be reminded of the time Soulburner killed a child? And that being one of the few times that a death in Yu-Gi-Oh was actually permanent. Anyway, as long as we put this deck's baggage aside, it's a fairly fun concept for a deck. With few main deck monsters but a ton of link monsters, their gimmick is all about whether they're linked or not. You know, kind of like whether they've been plugged in, because they're household appliances. It's a neat concept, trust me. Anyway, the deck is full of main deck level 1 monsters that are good at spamming the field, in order to make their extra deck monsters that, despite seeming small, are actually really good at ATKing. Wait a second, where have I heard this before? However, if you're going into this expecting Lyrilusc, you'll be a bit disappointed. In truth, they're better off at making link monsters while going first, and then using whatever you have left over on turn 3 to try and finish your opponent off. Having access to level 1 support for consistency, as well as being able to use some fun machine support, they're fairly good at ending on an Appaloosa with a Nightmare Griffin to slow your opponents down. So what cards are we running? Let's have a look. So here's the deck. The basic thing you're trying to do in an Appliancer deck is summon Socket Troll while there's already a Socket Troll on the board, so we run a lot of cards to facilitate that. First off, run 3 of every Appliancer. There are only 3 main deck ones, so you need to run them all to make sure you start with one. Socket Troll summons itself if you already control an Appliancer, and summons another copy of itself if a second one is summoned while it's already on the field. To help with that, Copybuckle also summons itself while copying a name on the field, so it can pretend to be Socket Troll to trigger its effect. It also has a nice bit of recursion for turn 3 plays. Finally, Breakabunkle isn't actually that good, but it has a quick effect from the hand, so it can be useful to add back with your field spell's effect. Speaking of, run 4 Electro-Lyrical World. It searches any Appliancer card that you'll need, as well as helping you recycle cards. Finally, top it out with Reuse, their in-archetype monster reborn, and Conversion, which is basically a searchable battle trick that helps you control the link monster's effects. For their support, you want things that'll help them spam out link monsters, and with a ton of link ones, Parallel Exceed is easy to trigger. That will get you 2 more materials, with which you'll completely ignore the whole Exceed summoning aspect for them and just go for more links. Next for the spice, Gizmek Naganaki actually interacts pretty well with this deck. By tributing itself, it can summon any Appliancer from the deck, since they're all lower levels than the Gizmek, and they have attack matching their own defense. However, it doesn't stop there. If you use Desires and happen to banish an Appliancer with it, this card will allow you to add a face-down banished Appliancer to your hand, so you can get quite a lot of mileage out of it. Next is the Codebreaker package. By making their link 2, you can summon this card back from the deck, and then make their link 3 to summon back both Zero Day and Virus Swordsman, basically going straight from a link 2 to a link 4. What's the catch? Well, they all either need to be linked or summoned to zones that are pointed to by link arrows. Luckily, that's actually easy to achieve with Celtopus, who, despite being a link 2, has the exact right 2 arrows to enable this combo. To round out the monsters, run 3 Ash Blossom and 3 Effect Veiler, the latter of which is searchable in some hands. Now for spell support. 1 for 1 is a good combo starter, while Wear Off Thou makes your combos easier to pull off since most appliances can just summon themselves if you already have one out. Machine Duplication works on any appliancer for easy materials, so just make sure you activate this before Desires if possible. Finally, Desires and Call by the Grave just help your combos go through, with the only risk of occasionally banishing Zero Day. If you don't want to risk that, you can just instead run some extenders like Jester Confit. Right, extra deck time. We run a lot of appliances, but when going first, you might just make a Laundry Dragon and or a Celtopus. Going second, their battle phase focused effects do come up a lot more often. But to be honest, they're all very long and specific, so I won't be covering all of that here. Linkaribe can be made from basically anything in this deck, and can help protect your Appaloosa from battle destruction. The Codebreakers help you combo, and then Unicorn can remove stuff on your way up to a link 4, plus it's good for boosting your access code talker. Griffin and Appaloosa are the cards you'll mostly be making for your end board, and then access code is, well, access code. If you don't really want to shell out for an access code, Goki the Paraloid Ogre is a fairly good choice. It will have over 3000 attack, it's unaffected by card effects, and it can tribute itself to destroy 4 cards on the field. It's a fairly solid choice, so it's definitely worth considering, maybe even instead of a third Laundry Dragon. Finally, you can also swap around any of the Appliancer ratios a bit, and try and fit in a Dryer Drake if you really want to. So now let's look at how it all fits together into combos. But first, if you've been enjoying the video so far, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. For this first hand, I'll be showing you a fairly standard example of what you can pull off while going first. Start with the field spell, and then search a Breaker Uncle since we already have the other 2 appliances. Because of that, you can also just search an effect failure with Where Art Thou, since having extra copies of appliances in your hand isn't too useful. You can now summon Soccertroll since you control an Appliancer, and then Copybuckle can summon itself, copy its name, and get another Soccertroll from the deck. Those 2 make a Celtipus, recycling Soccertroll and freeing up room to use your machine duplication on the Breaker Uncle for even more materials. You can now start doing the Codebreaker combo thanks to Celtipus, linking up until you have enough materials for a 4 material Appaloosa and a Nightmare Griffin, which can discard a card to recycle your machine duplication and draw you a card. You now have 4 negates from Appaloosa, as well as a Griffin preventing non-linked monsters from activating their effects. That's more or less what you'll be aiming to do with this deck, so I won't show it again too many more times, but I wanted to showcase a slightly better version of the end board as well as Gizmek Naganaki in action. Normal summon it and then tribute it for a Breaker Uncle, which allows you to summon Soccertroll. You can then banish 10 with Desires, which makes Naganaki live, adding a banished Copybuckle to your hand. It can now summon itself by copying Soccertroll's name and get another Soccertroll from the deck. Now just summon a Celtipus, which triggers Parallel Exceed, is enough for you to start doing the Codebreaker combo. By going through that, you'll actually have enough materials to make a Griffin in the rightmost monster zone, which is actually a very useful thing to do. You can discard Reuse to immediately set it while drawing a card. Finally, you can make your remaining monsters into an Appaloosa with 4 negates. This board is slightly better because now, thanks to your link placements, Appaloosa's upwards arrow isn't giving your opponents a free link zone in which they can bypass Griffin's effect, meaning they'll need their own link one if they want their special summon monsters to activate their effects. So there you have it. What did you think? Will you be trying out Appliancers? Or do you prefer to stick to the stronger level 1 deck? Tell me in the comments, and while you're down there, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching!